Welcome to another amazingly average gameplay playthrough of, this time, Dragon Age Origins. And what I'm doing is, in anticipation for Dragon Age Inquisition, I'm going throughout all of Dragon Age Origins, all the expansions, all of Awakening, all of Dragon Age 2 and its expansions, to kind of create what many people call a perfect save, or just world state, to be used for Dragon Age Inquisition. And I've been meaning to do this for a while, but I wasn't sure what was going to be happening as far as the whole bringing over your saves or what's going on with that. So now that I'm a little more clear on that situation, I'll go ahead and play through it again like I wanted to, and go from there. Start a new game. We're going to do Origins. We'll do the standalone expansions. I'll probably just find a way to like cut those in where I find them appropriate. Let's go. And of course, the hubris of mortals. Usually how just about everything gets screwed over. It's a tale as old as time.
The Chantry teaches us that it is the hubris of men which brought the Darkspawn into our world.
See?
The mages had sought to usurp heaven, but instead, they destroyed it. They were cast out, twisted and cursed by their own corruption. They returned as monsters, the first of the Darkspawn. They became a blight upon the lands, unstoppable and relentless. The Dwarven kingdoms were the first to fall, and from the deep roads, the Darkspawn drove at us again and again, until finally we neared annihilation.
Which really says something, because the dwarves are badass to begin with. Especially because they have golems.
Until the Grey Wardens came. Men and women from every race, warriors and mages, barbarians and kings. The Grey Wardens sacrificed everything to stem the tide of darkness, and prevailed.
The badasses of their age.
It has been 4 centuries since that victory, and we have kept our vigil. We have watched and waited for the Darkspawn to return. But those who once called us heroes have forgotten. We are few now, and our warnings have been ignored for too long. It may even be too late. For I have seen with my own eyes what lies on the horizon. Maker, help us all.
It's part of the reason why I really love this game too, because it's so story-wise deeply rooted in not only just a lot of taboo topics as far as politics and political intrigue, religion as far as the whole concept of the Maker, and so on. And even then, from the right off the bat, you have the choice of choosing your gender, choose your race, whether you be human, you could be elf, dwarf, and every little option you choose with even gender, funny enough, slightly changes dialogue that you have with certain people, but it kind of shapes how the story begins for you. The only time you ever get practically the same story, nope, even if you go mage, there's different routes, because if you go elf and then mage, you can be one of the Dalish. But yeah, you get the idea. But I'm gonna go, because I'm boring as hell, and usually I'm one of those crazy people that models their characters after themselves, which can also be considered narcissistic, so take it as you will. I always play sword and board warrior of devastation. But I might change it up for Dragon Age 2, but we'll see. But yeah, as a human warrior, you get the human noble storyline, which as far as what you go through and what goes down is probably one of my favorite origin beginnings, besides probably what the noble dwarf beginning as well.
Greetings.
Alright, so we're going to skip ahead, because when I do create player, it usually takes a while, so there'll be like a little jump cut from here. And voila! 40 minutes later, I have a character. Let's see, as a warrior, I want to focus on strength. Usually you wouldn't go ahead and do cunning, but every character I play as always has to be kind of smooth. A little smooth operator. And of course, right off the bat, gonna be again, like I said, smooth talker. Gain greater health, reduce fatigue. Weapon and shields to worry about later, so we'll start with powerful as a passive ability. See, there's a lot of depth to the combat, to the combat as well. It plays a lot like, for anybody who's familiar with tabletop RPGs, like Dungeons and Dragons, and stuff like that. It's kind of the basis of where a lot of the combat from Dragon Age Origins comes from. There. Alright, so can't use threaten yet. No precise striking yet either. Shield pummel, shield bash, shield block. Nice. So no penalty, and we'll go with normal. But for anybody wondering about the character creation, if they haven't done it, there's a whole bunch of different sliders to kind of really personalize the look of your character to make something unique. It's not like typical, oh, face 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You really get to mess around with it as you see fit.
For generations, your family, the Kuzlans, has stewarded the lands of Highever, earning the loyalty of your people with justice and temperance. When your country was occupied by the Orlesian Empire, your father and grandfather served the embattled kings of your land. Today, your elder brother takes up House Kuzlan's banner in service to the crown. Not against the men of Orlais, but against the bestial Darkspawn rising in the south.
I trust then that your troops will be here shortly.
I expect they will start arriving tonight, and we can march tomorrow. I apologize for the delay, my lord. This is entirely my fault.
No. The appearance of the Darkspawn in the south has us all scrambling, doesn't it? I only received the call from the king a few days ago myself. I'll send my eldest off with my men. You and I will ride tomorrow just like the old days.
True. Though we both had less grey in our hair then. And we fought all legions, not monsters.
At least the smell will be the same. I'm sorry, Pup, I didn't see you there. Hal, you remember my son?
I see he's grown into a fine young man. Pleased to see you again, lad.
I'm going to try so hard not to metagame. For anybody who's not familiar with the term metagaming, it's the preconceived knowledge of what I've done before and try and play it otherwise. Alright, not going to be a smartass.
Oh no, I left them in Amaranthine, well away from the fighting in the south. They do send their best wishes. My daughter Delilah asked after you. Perhaps I should bring her next time.
Be courteous. Why not?
Good. She goes on about your prowess as a warrior. I think you have an admirer, young man.
At any rate, Pup, I summoned you for a reason. While your brother and I are both away, I'm leaving you in charge of the castle.
I guess I'm going to kind of read out what I'm going to be saying, considering there's no voice actors in this one. I will not be doing any kind of voice acting, for I am awful. If you watched any of the horrible joke machinimas I made, you can tell that. So I'm going to basically ask, what can I go into battle with you and Fergus?
I'm certain you'd more than prove yourself, but I am not willing to deal with your mother if you join the war. She'd kill me if I let you go. She's already twisted into knots about Fergus and me going.
Yeah, go ahead and threaten your father. That's always a smart option. Let me talk to her. I'll convince her.
I doubt that. You know your mother, and she made it clear there is no debate. This is no needless task. I ask you to take a great responsibility. Only a token force is remaining here, and you must keep peace in the region. You know what they say about mice when the cat is away, yes? There's also someone you must meet. Please, show Duncan in.
Somebody familiar. Didn't want to say his name earlier.
It is an honor to be a guest within your hall, Tyrn Cousland.
Your lordship, you didn't mention that a Grey Warden would be present.
Duncan arrived just recently, unannounced. Is there a problem?
Of course not. But a guest of this stature demands certain protocol. I am at a disadvantage.
We rarely have the pleasure of seeing one in person, that's true. Pup, Brother Aldous taught you who the Grey Wardens are, I hope.
They defeated the Darkspawn long ago.
Not permanently, I fear.
Without their warning of the Darkspawn rising now, half the nation could have been overrun before we'd had a chance to react. Duncan is looking for recruits before joining us and his fellow Wardens in the south. I believe he's got his eye on Sir Gilmore.
If I might be so bold, I would suggest that your son is also an excellent candidate.
Honor though that might be, this is one of my sons we're talking about.
Is there a reason I shouldn't join them?
You did just finish saying that Grey Wardens are heroes, old friend.
I've not so many children that I'll gladly see them all off to battle. Unless you intend to invoke the right of conscription.
Have no fear. While we need as many good recruits as we can find, I've no intention of forcing the issue.
Pup, can you ensure that Duncan's requests are seen to while I'm gone?
Of course.
In the meantime, find Fergus, and tell him to lead the troops to Ostagar ahead of me.
But I'm not done talking to you yet.
We'll talk before I leave tomorrow. We must discuss the battle plans in the south. Be a good lad and do as I've asked. We'll talk soon.
Damn. Just got fathered. Talk Duncan anyways.
I'm sorry, but I believe your father wishes to talk to the Arl and myself alone.
May we speak later?
Your father has left you in charge of the castle? Then I will see you at dinner tomorrow, if not sooner.
I look forward to it.
As do I. Until then.
Or how one more time real quick.
Yes?
How long have you and father been friends?
We fought together under King Merrick when he drove the Orlesians out of Ferelden. Heady times. The years since have not held the same promise. It's not something a youth would understand. It will be good to ride beside your father again.
You knew King Merrick?
Your father hasn't spoken of our time with him? That man took care of his friends. As they say, he was large as life and twice as tall. It's too bad Kalen isn't half that.
You don't think much of King Kalen?
I think of him as much as he thinks at all.
That's enough, Hal. You speak of our king.
Oh, the boy did ask, your lordship. As per the latitude you allow. I merely offered my opinion.
Your daughter's interested in me.
The topic has come up from time to time. The young and their infatuations.
I got the impression Delilah didn't like me.
I'm sure that was years ago. People change. To be honest, I have no expectations. And your father seems determined to let you find your own way. If something did happen, well, we'd address it as befits a family of our stature.
We'll see.
I'm sure there will be much to discuss once I return.
I trust the delay with your men is nothing serious.
Poor weather, I believe. Their progress has been slow, but it's nothing you need worry about.
I just want to wish you well, Arlhow.
I thank you. That is quite unnecessary.
Alright, now leave. I don't want to piss my dad off anymore. Can I go this way? I gotta remember all the different places I can go. Because as is per all RPGs, it is always best to explore, even at the very beginning. Oh yeah.
Where are we now? Dare I even ask?
The classic, whip out your weapons when you're not even in combat. Another good way to get experience in a lot of lore, as far as background to the story of Thetis and what's going on throughout Ferelden as well, is finding books and getting codex. I may do something separate that just goes over a lot of the different codex. It'd be way too much, especially in a long game with this, to include that as part of it. We'll play it by ear. So now let's head back over this way. I'm definitely glad to be playing this again. Like I said before, and even in my slightly cheesy BioWare fan video, that this is my favorite RPG series as a whole.
Oh, my lord, we were just,
Taking a break?
well, the treasury's safe. I'm not even sure why the Terran stationed us here.
Did my father fear someone would steal something?
I don't know. Nobody has come to look at the treasury.
Who has the key to the treasury?
The Terran, and perhaps the Tanner? Honestly don't know, my lord.
They really should be on their duties. So what I'll do is I'll forget about it this time.
Yes, my lord. Thank you. We won't forget this.
But of course don't want to ignore them every time, because
Cannot
then
be.
if I just ignore let them be, then they'll just slack ass all the time, and potentially something bad could happen. You know? Oh wait, I forgot to actually speak to the actual, just over here with the old chantry. Well, not with the chantry, but you know what I mean.
Maker, prepare a place for us. Redeem our world from sin. Forgive our transgressions.
Maker, forgive us all.
It's the damn mage's fault. It's all the mage's
You
fault.
come to pray for your brother and father? I'd be happy to ask for the Maker's blessings with you.
I would appreciate that, Mother Mel.
Please, child. Call me Malol. I've known you since you were a wee babe after all. Creator of the sky, the land, and the sea. Hear your people in our time of need.
Maker, watch over us.
Let no man have cause to fear the shadows. Let their souls be lifted upon your return. So let it be.
Maker, forgive us all.
There now. I'll be keeping a vigil tonight. You're welcome to come. There are many more who must receive the Maker's blessings before they leave. If you would excuse me.
Could you answer a few questions?
I cannot.
Aww.
Many await my attendance before they march into the unknown. We shall talk once the soldiers have departed.
I tried. I don't know. I mean, the whole topic of religion, everybody feels differently about it. But I feel in a land where there's monsters, it's good to believe in something.
There you are. Your mother told me the Terran had summoned you, so I didn't want to interrupt.
Hello to you too, Sir Gilmore.
Pardon my manners, my lord. It's simply that I've been looking all over the castle for you. I fear your hound has the kitchens in uproar once again, and is threatening to leave.
Did the dog get in the larder again?
No matter how the maids try to keep him out, he always finds a way in. You know these Mabari hounds. They listen only to their master. Anyone else risks having an arm bitten off.
He knows better than hurt anyone.
I'm not willing to test that. You're quite lucky to have your own Mabari warhound, you know. Smart enough not to talk, my father used to say. Of course, that means he's easily bored. Nan swears he confounds her just to amuse himself. At any rate, your mother would have me accompany you until the matter is settled, shall we?
Where is my mother exactly?
She was entertaining Lady Landra and her son when I left her. Perhaps in the atrium? Before we go, my lord, might I beg a question? I've heard from several people that a Grey Warden is here. Is that true?
His name is Duncan. I met him.
Then, is it also true that this Grey Warden was asking after me?
He intends to test you for recruitment.
Maker's breath. Are you certain? Can you imagine me, a Grey Warden? It would be everything I've dreamed of. Of course, I shouldn't get ahead of myself. Pardon my outburst.
Good evening, my lord.
Books, 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 books. Culture of Ferelden. More books, 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 books. History of Ferelden, Chapter 2. And History of Ferelden, Chapter 1. Good reads. Good reads.
Good evening, my lord.
Starts the library. Aldous.
Hello, my dear boy. By chance, I am beginning to teach these young squires about your family's history.
Do we have to? History is boring.
Boys, you are referring to the Couslands, the very family in whose castle you live. Show some respect.
Stood the same taskmaster, I see.
If the mind is not exercised, it withers just as the body does. Perhaps you'd care to join me in teaching the lesson?
Certainly, I'd be happy to.
Wonderful. Oh, the Coastland history is long indeed. Where shall we start?
When was our line founded?
Records are vague, but the Coastlands became Tierns during the Black Age. Is that familiar, child?
Yeah, I remember something about an age in there.
Every day I pray to the Maker that my lessons will stick, and every day he tasks me anew. At that time, your family held only the minor title of Ban. When the werewolves reached this area, Ban Mather Coastland organized a curfew and patrols within the city. Several other local bands supported his efforts by swearing oaths of fealty, making him their Tiern.
We predate the founding of the kingdom, yes?
Well, I'm glad some of my lessons don't disappear into that yawning chasm between your ears, young man.
It's your skills as a tutor, of course.
If I were truly a skilled tutor, I suspect I would not encounter such insouciance amongst my pupils. You can look that up later.
What a dick.
At any rate, your family has held the Tourneur of High Ever since before King Calenhad united Ferelden. In fact, Tierna Elethea Coastland battled Calenhad to maintain High Ever's independence.
We opposed the king?
The Coastlands are ardent royalists now, but at that time, Calenhad was unknown and considered dangerous by many. When Calenhad's army reached High Ever, Tierna Elethea led the local bands against him. Obviously, Calenhad won.
And Calenhad let us keep the Tyrion?
Calenhad wished to unite Ferelden, not conquer it. After Elethea's men were defeated, Calenhad asked her to swear fealty. The boulder where they held council still stands today as a memorial of that event.
Tell me about our relationship with Arl Howe.
The history between the Coastlands and the Howes reaches back to the Orlesian occupation.
When did Orlais occupy High Ever?
During your grandfather's rule. Of course, Orlais found it difficult to hold these lands. During the rebellion against Orlais, several battles were fought near High Ever. The port village of Harper's Ford was the Tournier's center. Its Arl was Tarleton Howe. Though nearly 90, he was still as sharp and bitter as cheap ale. Your grandfather openly supported the rebellion, but Howe sided with Orlais. Your family was forced to seize Harper's Ford before it was all over.
But my father and Arl Howe are old friends.
The Howes eventually joined the rebellion, when all of Ferelden united behind King Merrick and General Loghain. Just as now we united behind Merrick's son, King Cailan, to fight the Darkspawn.
Time to end the lesson, I think.
Thank you for indulging an old man.
Oh, does that mean we have to listen to you now?
Silence! I will not have you two becoming smart-mouthed hooligans. Perhaps you should go. I doubt they need any more distraction. I'm just going to settle in here and apparently just talk to myself.
Unlock all the codex.
And my dear Bryce bought this back from Orlais last year. The Marquis who gave it to him was drunk, I understand, and mistook Bryce for the king. Ah, here is my son, along with Sir Gilmore. Tell me, Sir Gilmore, has my pup collared that dog yet?
Not just yet, your ladyship.
Darling, do take care of that. That malodorous hound of yours is an excellent protector, but he drives Nan to distraction.
Father sent me to talk to Fergus.
I'm not asking you to travel to the moon. The kitchen is just around the corner. Sir Gilmore, see that it gets done.
As your ladyship commands.
Good. With any luck, I'll be able to feed my guests before the end of next week. Darling, you remember Lady Landra?
I think we last met at your mother's spring salon.
Alright, well, I won't be a dick and say, weren't you drunk? Of course, it's good to see you again, my lady.
You're too kind, dear boy. Didn't I spend half the salon shamelessly flirting with you?
Right in front of your family, too.
You remember my son, Dyron? I believe you two sparred in the last tourney.
And you beat me handily, as I recall. It's good to see you again, my lord.
You're being modest. You fought very well.
And this is my lady-in-waiting, Iona. Do say something, dear.
It is a great honor, my lord. I have heard many wonderful things about you.
Don't look now, Eleanor. But I believe the girl has a crush on your lad.
Lady Landra.
Hush, Landra. You'll turn the poor thing scarlet.
Oh no, I'm in start trouble. Perhaps we should speak alone sometime, Iona.
As it pleases you, my lord.
I think perhaps I shall rest now, my dear. Dyron, I will see you and Iona at supper.
Perhaps we'll retire to the study for now.
Good evening, your lordship. Sir Gilmore.
Alright, go take care of the dog. After I explore some more. Never done exploring. No, not yet. This screams, it just sounds so awful. He must be causing absolute carnage. Oh no, that's back in there. So I don't want to go there yet. Here, maybe? Yeah, this is unfortunate.
We will serve you while the Terran is away.
Because elves were treated as second-hand citizens, at least the ones that aren't in the wild, and were treated as servants. Because what medieval style, even just fantasy thing, doesn't have servants or slaves?
Get that bloody mutt out of the larder.
But mistress, it won't let us near.
If I can't get into that larder, I'll skin both of you useless elves, I swear it.
Calm down, good woman. We've come to help.
You and you! Your bloody mongrel keeps getting into my larder. That beast should be put down.
Oh, that's just wrong. He's not a mongrel, he's a pure-blood Mabari.
A blight wolf is what he is. How am I supposed to work like this?
Oh dear. Mistress, calm down, please.
That's it. I'll quit. Inform the turner. I'll go and cook at some nice estate in the Banorn.
Nan, please. We'll get the dog. Calm down.
Just get him gone. I've enough to worry about with a castle full of hungry soldiers. You two, stop standing there like idiots. Get out of the way.
I so badly want a Mabari Warhound of my own.
Oh, look at that mess. How did he even get in here?
So adorable. Are you trying to tell me something, boy?
It does seem like he's trying to tell you something. Wait. Did you hear that?
His name shall be the same name as my previous dog. Appa.
We're going to be attacked.
Oh god, giant rats!
Delighted.
time for auto attack time.
Of course. And so I shall. All right. Delighted. Of course.
Giant rats? It's like the start of every bad adventure tale my grandfather used to tell. Your hound must have chased them in through their holes. Looks like he wasn't raiding the larder after all.
Those were very large rats.
I've seen larger. They come up from the Kakari wilds sometimes. But seeing as you've got your Mabari well in hand, I'll be on my way. I'm to prepare for the arrival of more of the Isle's men.
Good boy. Did a good job. He deserves to be pet. I appreciate from BioWare is they tend to listen to the community when it comes to a lot of different things. Very similar to Mass Effect 3. They've taken into consideration a lot of what the community is